Now for today's sponsor, Rogue Energy. If you love energy or if you love hydration, Rogue Energy is your one-stop shop. I personally love to use the energy supplement as it helps me focus when I work, and it also helps me power through workouts when I go to the gym. I also love to use the hydration whenever I go out for a run or do any type of cardio activity. It really helps me replace my lost electrolytes. Make sure to use my code Harariboy at checkout for 10% off your purchase. All right, so that brings us to our next segment, right? There's all this talk about passive income. What is passive income? Well, basically income that comes to you with you putting in little to no effort. Some people do ebooks online and collect a check from that. Some people, anything that's automated, maybe they have a Shopify account, whatever the case might be, they're selling and it's just working by itself. Anything that makes you not lift a finger but you're still getting paid from it is pretty much passive income, right? So on TikTok and a lot of these other sites, social media sites and stuff, you see all these so-called gurus in real estate basically trying to sell you on passive income. Oh, real estate's passive income, this and that. Let me tell you, I personally have friends who thought that and started getting into real estate investing and had a couple of rentals, and they can tell you, right, like they told me straight up, this is not passive. I wish I never got into it. It's the most stressful thing in the world, because at the end of the day, first of all, you're dealing with tenants, right? Those are people, so you got to deal with all types of people issues, emotions, stuff like that. So tenants are often difficult to work with, to deal with. There are many unforeseen expenses such as maintenance costs, which is never revealed to you with these so-called passive income tips for real estate. And then, and here's a huge one that people don't understand. Like, even if you hire a property manager to manage your properties, it's not as passive as you think. Honestly, they want you to be passive so that way they can rack up all the bills and just give it to you. Like, someone's water heater busted, let's go with the most expensive contractor, let's do this, that. When you're not there to vet those type of things, everything builds up and then you're left with a surprise at the end, when you could have just dealt with it from the forefront and prevented that from happening. So this is why real estate investing is not passive whatsoever, and you shouldn't think about it as passive income going into it. Now, if you have the right mindset, you have money saved up, and you're doing pretty well for yourself, then yeah, there's a lot to gain from real estate investing. I'm not saying there isn't. It's a very lucrative thing, even if you have rental property, stuff like that. But a lot of those people that actually have rental properties, they will tell you that it's almost like a full-time job. So just keep that in mind. I'll go ahead and play this clip from Dave Ramsey here. He'll go into more depth about that, and then we'll get into our next segment. So do you have a minute to connect? Let's Minect. That's right, guys. I'm officially on Minect now. You guys can go ahead and book me. I will be offering financial as well as career coaching based off of the Dave Ramsey principles, of course. So yeah, feel free to contact me, connect with me on Minect, and I look forward to speaking with each and every single one of you.
Jason is in San Antonio, Texas. Love your town, Jason. What's up?
Start off by thanking you. You've changed my life. On our last 3 real estate transactions, we've definitely been blessed, and we are on baby step 7. Thank God.
Way to go.
Thank you, sir. we are in a position where we could potentially be looking at a real estate investment. And I know you have prolific experience in investing, and I wanted to ask your opinion on setting up potentially a business to invest in, like an LLC or under my name, and then how to properly find investment properties to invest in, and then obviously, how do we manage it? Do we do flips? Do we do rentals? What's your opinion on stuff like that?
Okay. Well, there's a lot of different things you can do there. That's a whole real estate course you're talking about in a sense. But as you probably have already figured out, I'm unusual and I pay cash for all mine, or I don't buy it. So that's thing one. I do put all of our properties in an LLC. We don't buy residential houses anymore in our situation. We've got a bunch of them, but we're not adding any. When we were buying those, we would put up to $5 million worth into an LLC, and then we would form another LLC. The reason for that is if an LLC owns the rental house, the tenant gets drunk and falls off the porch and decides it's your fault and sues you, they have to sue the owner of the house, which is the LLC.
Exactly.
Okay? And if they were to win, they can take what that LLC owns, but nothing else. So your other assets, like your personal residence, are then protected. So by putting your properties up to a certain point in an LLC, and then once the target on the LLC gets too big, you do another LLC. So I've got a bunch of them. Like I've got one building that's a $15 million office building. It's its own LLC. Okay? Right. You see what I'm doing? But if somebody falls over there, the worst case scenario, if they get past the insurance, they get past me paying lawyers to sue them for being stupid, and so on, the most they're going to get is that building. You follow me?
Yes, that makes sense.
If you're going to buy a house or two, form an LLC, throw them in there. Now, then as far as whether you're flipping them or whether you're holding them, then that's a completely different strategy in terms of what you're looking for and what you want to do and that kind of stuff. Flipping is been made famous, of course, by cable television. Everybody thinks they're Chip and Joanna. And I've probably done 2,000, 1,500 flips in my life, but mostly in another life before I did this. I hardly ever sell a piece of real estate now. I buy it and hold it forever. And so flips are a pain in the butt because you're basically in the business of renovating properties and reselling them, finding another one, renovating it, and reselling it. If you want to do that as your business, that's okay. But it's time-consuming. You know, you're running subs, you're running paint colors, picking faucets. It's like building a dadgum house. You know, I mean, you're going to pick roofs, you're going to do all these things, and then pull building permits. You're going to have to do all this stuff, depending on how much work is being done to the house and the proximity to a city, the municipality that you got to do that. So you got to go through all that stuff. And after you get through all of that, you can make some money doing it if you bought the thing right. So you just decide if you want to do that or not. On rentals, the best rates of return are cheap properties, but they're the highest hassle. In other words, the more expensive the rent, typically the classier the tenant, right?
More stable.
Yeah, and the more stable. But if you got lower income property, you know, you're having to fight all kinds of other misbehaviors and other stuff in the properties, but the returns are excellent. So
right now I'm looking at about
hassle factor.
125,000 is about what we have left over from the most recent sale.
Okay.
And I just parked it in an S&P, not knowing what to do with it.
Yeah,
we
that's
can
fine.
Take that and buy, buy one or
if
two.
you want to buy one and flip it, or
rentals.
and roll it up into something. But think about what it is you want to own for 10 years if you're buying a rental.
Right.
And
Make
from
sure
personal
it's in a good
experience, I'll tell
neighborhood.
you, you're a brand new landlord. You don't want to deal with lower income property. It's a pain in the butt. I mean, it becomes its own business. It's your own. You have to have a brain adjustment when you do it because you have to think different. But all the residential I have today is really high end single families, and I don't know how I got like 10 or 15 of them. I don't have a bunch of them. Most of our stuff is commercial. So all of that to say, you just got to decide what you want to do. But the more, don't underestimate the hassle factor of what you're stepping into. A flip is a big hassle. I'm telling you, you can make some money, but it's a job. Dealing with lower income people, you can make a great rate of return, but it's a hassle. It becomes a job, and it requires a cultural adjustment in your brain because it's a different psyche that you're dealing with as a customer. And so, by and large, not all the time, but as a generalization, call it a stereotype if you want to. But then, and then the same thing on the other end. So, but if you're going to buy something to hold, look at it and go, how's this going to age in 10 years? Is it already 50 years old? Ooh. Then it's going to be 60 years old when it's 10 years from now. And you're going to start to, so.
How old are you, Dave?
I know, but I'm talking about houses. I mean, I look at the house I grew up in, and I think that stinking house, how old it is now.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. I wouldn't buy that house.
Oh, yeah.
That's old.
Yeah. Same than when I grew up in, yeah.
So that's the thing. Well, it's a great question, but I think the biggest mistake, this frenzy we have, John, of people, and Jason, the people we have out here wanting to buy real estate right now, the biggest mistake is that they probably understand about 10% of how hard it's going to be.
Well, I like the way you're framing it, because you're asking, what life do you want? And then we're gonna buy a house or flip a house based on that. Because if you want to get in there and get your hands dirty and deal with knocking on doors and, hey, you can't do this and you can't light fires in the yard, that's a life, right?
Yeah.
And some people
you can't run drugs out of our house.
That's right. And if you want to mess with subs and have fun with doing that and flipping it and pick faucets, and that brings you or whoever your business partners joy, knock your lights out. But that's a different kind of life, right?
Yeah.
If you want to set it and forget it.
But this idea on TikTok that you can just buy houses and I've got this passive income. People who say passive income on real estate are morons.
Right.
There's nothing passive about owning real estate. It's active.
Right.
It's very active. I don't own a single piece of property that's passive.
Right.
And I own about several $100 million worth.
It's
God. It's not passive.
There's
nobody.
Crypto.
There's nothing that. What passive is mutual funds. They send me a statement in my inbox. That's all I deal with. That's passive. But no, there's no real estate passive income. That's somebody trying to sell you a get rich quick seminar on TikTok or TikTok or whatever the flip it is, So that's the, you just, real estate is a wonderful investment, but do not go into it, folks, with rose-colored glasses thinking it's going to be easy. It's a process.
You're going to get rich quick.
It's not quick. It's not easy. There's a hassle. It's not it's a problem. It's like starting your own business. It's the meanest boss you'll ever work for in your life. The guy will work you into the ground. Don't start your own business and think it's going to fix all your problems. It just makes all your problems come home on your plate.
All right, so you heard what he had to say there. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Real estate investing is not passive. Go into it with the right mindset. Also, guys, make sure to check out my merch. I do a new merch drop every single month, so link is in the description below. Go ahead and check that out.